Sarah lived in a small town. She had a big dream, she wanted to be a runner. But there was one problem. Sarah had never run before. Every time she thought about running, a little voice in her head would say, "I'm not fast enough. I can't do it." Sarah often watched other runners, and they seemed so strong and fast. She felt small and unsure. Maybe this dream isn't for me, she thought. But one morning, something felt different. Sarah woke up with a new feeling in her heart. "Today, I will try," she whispered to herself. She put on her old shoes. They weren't running shoes, but she didn't care. Her hands felt a little shaky as she tied the laces. She was nervous, but also excited. Sarah took a deep breath and stepped outside. The sun was shining gently, and the air felt cool and fresh. Sarah smiled a little. She walked to the park nearby. When she got there, she saw other runners. They moved so quickly. Sarah felt slow just watching them. "That's okay," she told herself. "I'm just starting." Sarah began to walk around the park. At first, she only walked. Her legs started to feel tired, and her heart beat faster than usual. A part of her wanted to stop, but then, she thought about her dream. "Don't give up now," she said softly, so, she kept walking. After 30 minutes, Sarah was exhausted. Her legs felt heavy, and her face was red. But as she sat down to rest, she smiled. She was tired, but she was happy, because today Sarah had started her journey to becoming a runner. The next morning, she woke up with sore legs. It hurt just to move. "Maybe I should rest today," she thought as she lay in bed. But then she remembered how proud and happy she felt after walking the day before. "I can't stop now." So, Sarah got up, put on her shoes, and went back to the park. This time, she tried jogging. At first, her feet felt heavy, and her heart raced. "This is hard," she thought. But she didn't stop. Weeks passed, and Sarah got stronger. Now, she could run for 10 minutes without stopping. Her legs didn't ache as much, and she felt proud. But then, something bad happened. One day, while running, Sarah tripped. She hit the ground hard, and pain shot through her leg. She heard a small crack. Sarah had broken her leg. At the hospital, the doctor told her she couldn't run for many months. Sarah's heart sank. "I worked so hard. And now I can't even walk." At home, Sarah felt sad. She missed running. Sitting by the window, she watched other people run in the park. "Maybe I should give up," she thought. But one day, as she watched those runners, something sparked inside her. "I can't give up now," she whispered. Months later, her leg healed. It wasn't easy, but Sarah started walking again. Her steps were slow, and sometimes her leg hurt, but she kept going. Every day, she walked a little farther. Her leg grew stronger. One day, Sarah felt ready. "It's time to try running again," she said, lacing up her shoes. At the park, she stood still for a moment. Her heart pounded with nerves. But she took a deep breath and started to run. Her legs shook, and her breath came fast, but she didn't stop. "Don't give up," she reminded herself. Months passed, and Sarah grew even stronger. One morning, she signed up for her first race, a 5 kilometers run in her town. As race day arrived, Sarah stood at the starting line. She looked around and saw many people, some fast, some slow, just like her. Her heart raced. "What if I can't finish?" She wondered, but then she remembered her journey, the falls, the pain, and how she kept going. I didn't give up before, and I won't give up now. The race began. Sarah ran with the others. At first, she felt great. Her legs felt strong, and her breath was steady, but halfway through, her body grew tired. Maybe I should stop, she thought, then she remembered all the days she fought to get here. No. I can do this. Sarah kept running. Sarah could see the finish line ahead. Her heart pounded in her chest, and her legs felt like they might give out. But she didn't stop. Don't give up now, she told herself. With everything she had left, Sarah ran faster. The finish line grew closer. And then she crossed it. Tears filled her eyes as she slowed to a stop. She had done it. Sarah had finished her first race. It wasn't easy, but she made it through. Pride filled her heart, and she smiled brighter than ever before. After that day, Sarah signed up for more races. Each race was tough, but she remembered to keep going. Soon, Sarah started winning small races in her town. The first time she won, she stood at the finish line, holding her medal tightly. I did it, she thought, her eyes shining with joy. For the first time, she believed in herself. Sarah had come so far, from the woman afraid to run to someone standing proudly in first place. But Sarah's biggest challenge was still ahead, a marathon. A marathon is 42 kilometers long. It was the hardest race she had ever faced. The night before the race, Sarah lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Her heart fluttered with nerves. Can I really do this? She wondered. Doubt crept in, but then Sarah remembered her journey. She remembered the day she tripped and broke her leg, the months she spent learning to walk again, and the moment she laced up her shoes for the first time. If I can get through that, I can do anything. On the day of the marathon, Sarah stood at the starting line with hundreds of runners. The cold morning air made her shiver. Her legs felt shaky, and her heart raced. I can do this, she whispered, even though doubt tried to creep in. When the race began, Sarah started running slowly. She knew this wasn't a sprint, it would be a long journey. For the first few kilometers, she felt strong. The excitement of the crowd and the steady rhythm of her feet filled her with confidence. But as the kilometers passed, the excitement faded, and fatigue crept in. At 30 kilometers, Sarah's legs ached. Every step felt heavy. Maybe I should stop, she thought, but then, she remembered, I've come so far. I can't stop now. At 40 kilometers, Sarah was exhausted. Her legs burned, and her breaths came in short gasps. She could see the finish line, but it felt miles away. I don't know if I can make it, she thought. But memories of her journey flooded her mind, the races she had finished, the pride she felt each time she crossed the line. Don't give up, she told herself firmly. With her last bit of strength, Sarah pushed forward. She ran as fast as she could, every muscle screaming, but she didn't stop, and then she crossed the finish line. Tears filled her eyes as cheers erupted around her. She had done it. Sarah's friends and family rushed to her side, hugging her tightly. You did it, Sarah, they said with proud smiles. Sarah smiled through her tears. In that moment, she felt strong, proud, and more alive than ever. From that day on, Sarah knew she could face anything, as long as she never gave up. She continued to run races, and each time she crossed the finish line, she remembered how far she had come. Sarah became a champion, not because she was the fastest, but because she never quit. If you enjoyed Sarah's story, please like, subscribe, and share.